Welcome to Empowered to Grow, the podcast. I am your host, Hanan and Basha, the business doctor. Following our conversations with empowered women who woke up one day and consciously claimed, I am more than enough, I am worthy, I am empowered to grow. And along their empowering journey towards realizing their own potential and their quest for growth, they became a beacon of hope and guidance for others. May you also find your inner power to grow. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to our Unchartered discussions of Empowered to Grow podcast. Oh my God, now I'm starting to kind of lose it. I'm still having the wonderful conversation with Walaa of Colorways. And as I introduced her in our first part, we were talking about energy healing, and we were talking about sound therapy, and we were talking about colors and a lot of different modalities that have been showing up for us a lot more recently. And yet it's still a bit overwhelming / confusing for people to understand what it is. So let's go back to the basics with that, please.
Yes.
Energy. What is energy, and how can we heal energy?
Okay, so if you want to look at us as a whole system, and that we, as our system, ourselves, we're emitting different frequencies constantly, depending on how we feel, how we operate, and how our body even operates. So even if we break or hurt a physical part of us, that physical part is emitting a frequency.
That's true.
Okay, but what's interesting is that all these different frequencies and all these different layers of us also are connected in that frequency. So you have the frequency of the physical body, and the frequency of the emotional body, and the frequency of the mental body.
Yep.
Okay, I like to focus on these three. So all your thoughts, it has been studied, each has a frequency. And each sends a frequency, especially if we look at the universe as a vibrational entity. Everything around us is vibrating, not thinking, it's vibrating. Okay, and you are thinking because you're a human.
Yes.
Your thoughts are vibrating. Your emotions are vibrating outwards. Your physical body is responding and also vibrating outwards. We will see how very important all these elements are for our healing. So your energy is not this weird thing that is supernatural or strange. It is who you are. It is everything that you are.
Yes.
So when you're working with energy, that's why I'm not a big fan of doing one-off Reiki session or one-off energy session or one-off. I feel like
the quick fixes, band-aids kind of thing.
Yeah, but a quick fix also looks at this energy as something, outside of you or around you, and we'll just fix it without really going into the roots of it.
Yeah.
Without
No problem. It's okay.
Without really looking into the root causes of it, that's your belief system. And what do your belief systems make you feel about certain things? What are your and how's your body responding to these feelings? And so this is why we must look at our energy. We must look at our emotions, our mind, our feelings, and everything. I hope that kind of sums it up in the best way.
It does, because then it justifies why there are certain things that we do in our life, or there are certain people that we meet in our life, that after having that encounter, you feel drained of your energy. It's kind of something has sucked it out of you. And there are certain people where you say, we don't have chemistry, because I feel that our energy fields kind of clash together rather than kind of complement one another.
Yeah. So it's very interesting for me to look at it this way, because I don't say we don't have chemistry anymore. I always say our vibration frequency is just different.
That works.
We're in different places vibrationally.
Yes.
And our electricity is just, causing a clash.
Yeah.
But it's also very interesting that these people are people who also trigger us. So it's always interesting to ask yourself, okay, why did I clash with that person? What does this person mirror for me?
Yes.
Because if we're thinking again that the universe is a vibrational, if it's a vibrational entity, it's not thinking, it's responding to your energy that you're sending out. So let's say I have this belief about not wanting to be visible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I tell the universe, hey, I'm ready to be visible. Help me. So the
Mm-hmm.
universe will respond into like, okay, but this is the block you have. This is
Yeah.
the block you have. And it'll show you the blocks you have with people, situations, everything. So everybody we meet is also is an interesting question. The people who drain us is another interesting question. Is like, why do I feel that I need to give my energy to this person? Because
Yeah.
they're giving part of it. And you see, it all goes down back to you, what you believe, what is inside you subconsciously you're not aware of, and this is how your energy really operates.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because that is exactly it. And also this falls again in line. I know I keep bringing this practically every episode. It is that statement of Tony Robbins is that life happens for us and not to us. And once transitioning from life happens to us, you are giving, 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 and you are attracting everything that is reflecting what you don't want in life versus taking the other approach of life is happening for me is I am using every interaction, I'm using every opportunity, I'm using every circumstance to see what is it triggering within me to go back inside, to heal me, to think of it differently, to rephrase it for myself so I can go out to the world a better version of myself. And for me personally, and the way I'm raising our son, is that become the best version of yourself that you could be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to become the best version of yourself that you could be, what I believe is looking, is remembering who you are and
Yes.
removing all the blocks that told you otherwise. And because we live in societies that have that have made us feel that didn't help us evolve emotionally,
Yes.
and who preceded us, what ended up doing is we ended up giving away that personality and who we are and
Mhm.
who we are to replace it with a personality that would be accepted by everybody around us.
Yes.
And when we do that, that's the biggest self-betrayal.
Yes. Compliance versus individuality.
Yeah, and it's like what we yesterday I was listening to Teal Swan, and she was saying it's like as humanity right now, what the biggest lesson we are learning is if that resonated with me so much. It's like I can keep who I am and keep you as you are too.
That's true.
And that is just so beautiful. We learn that who accepting the people around us, who they are, or who they are, as we keep who we are, not needing to change who we are, is one of the most beautiful things we could practice.
And that goes back again, and possibly this could be tied into the energy again. It is about giving ourselves both the space and the permission to grow into ourselves, to become who we are meant to be, and also holding that space and giving the permission to those around us to be who they are. Because I believe that for a lot of us, the block has always been that you're trying to change people around you, whether you're changing them so because you believe they could be better from your perspective, or you're changing them because you want them to fit better into your life. Well, that is a source of draining energy because that energy could be exerted on yourself to become a better version of yourself.
Yeah, but also this comes from feeling unsafe.
Sure.
And this comes from feeling that I need to control people. They have to be a certain way in my life. And this again goes back into you need the self-acceptance that you need to be able to accept others as they are. You need to do the same for yourself. The less judgment you give yourself, um, the less it's a process, and you slowly shed these things. I'm not saying this is something you can do in one
No,
day. I
no.
think this is generational. This is something you've been living all your life. So you have to also allow yourself this process as you shed these old layers that have been imposed on you, self-imposed, imposed by society, all these different things. And then you're able, once you accept yourself, you're able to accept the people around you more and more. I'm not saying accept them and not put boundaries, because people confuse boundaries. Have your boundaries very strong, but also accept the other one with their boundary in their part of the life.
Exactly. Okay, so in actually in line with that, and part of my learnings from our my health coaching certification, we were talking about how the body manifests, literally physically, things that are stressing you out. And I remember in one of our sessions, my sessions with you, and you were talking about my gut. You're like, your gut has a kind of a fire within, it has this energy. And I remember that because I've got gut issues and I've got gastroesophageal reflux disease and everything. And when I, excuse me, when I associated it with everything that had been happening in my life until that point of realizing, I had realized that because I resisted my gut intuition for so long, my gut started flaring up. That energy became a negative, toxic energy within me.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit more about how our bodies could manifest energy, but not in a disempowering manner.
Okay, so when it's in a disempowering manner, it's incredible because your body's saying, "Hey, this is where I'm at. Come on, let's get this out."
Mhm.
So, especially as women, all right, most of the time, where we store our energy, we store it in the hips, in the
Yeah.
belly, and in the arms. Because when it's the arms, it's we're storing resentment because
Mm.
we feel that our choice has been taken away from us.
Okay.
And healing that really works with, all right, you know what? I'm taking charge of my life. I have choices. I'm able to choose for myself. Right? And then when we go into the stomach, it's a complete rejection of the feminine,
Mm.
complete rejection of being a woman, of allowing what a woman looks like for you and who you are to come into, which is the intuition, which is the receiving, which is a powerful being.
Mm.
Important things to be given. And then what we do is, because we're not able to feed that fire and create that and create these different things around us, we repress it in our stomach, and then we have all these crazy flare-ups.
Yeah.
And it's because our fire is trapped.
Mm-hmm.
It creates inflammation. But once you let that fire go and create it with creativity, or creating whatever ventures you feel like, and bringing ideas and creating the world around you, because you're not only creating babies in your belly, as a woman, you're also creating the world around you in your belly as a
That's
woman.
nice. Yep.
So coming from there, that's a very strong, beautiful orange energy. It is the energy of connection, community, joy, and flow.
Flow. I was actually going to say flow. Is allowing, is when you block your flow, that's when you start flaring up.
Exactly, you block your own fire.
Yeah.
And then we're
The last
talking.
one is the hips. Yep. We all have hips, and hips don't lie.
So hips is really, this one is very generational and oppression of women throughout time, but it's also now this resistance of not having hips. Okay, is better,
Yeah.
but that's like, again, a rejection of the feminine. But we also store a lot of anger in the legs, and anger because the, the the anger that is stored here comes from the inability to take action and move.
Hmm. So it's like kind of stopping in our tracks, and that kind of just makes us rigid in that sense.
That because that part is like, I don't feel safe at taking action towards my dreams or what I want, or towards my fire or whatever. So I'm putting fat on it, or I'm making it stuck with pain or whatever, because I don't feel safe moving forward. I don't feel safe with the red energy in my body. The red energy in your body is the masculine part of your body, which is about movement, taking action, and putting things in place. It's just also about balancing that. You
I
can't
love
have.
that. So, your book. Do you talk
Oh,
about
yeah.
these things in your book? Let's talk about your book and how you've manifested it in this world.
Very interesting. So I've always had that I was going to write a book in the back of my mind, but I never knew what I want. It never knew what it was going to be exactly. The
Okay.
first one.
Hmm.
Then I always felt like, a book about color therapy. I think like I'm looking at my shelf now. I don't think there is a book that was ever written about color and color therapy that I don't have. But every time I look at these books, it's missing the practical element.
Yeah.
How am I, what am I going to do? And then most of these therapists, what happens with them and color psychologists is they just, people just don't get it.
Yeah.
Um, and this is what happened to me in the beginning.
Yeah.
People just don't get it because it's something you experience. So a lady named Tanya came to me and she was like, looked at what you do, be great. This publishing company hired me to look for someone to give them to do a color therapy book. But they wanted something like all the other books I've read.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for approaching me, but this is my pitch.
Hmm.
I want a book that is that will be like a little Bible or a little thing that people will have and refer to constantly when they need, okay, I need to cleanse my home with the color energy. How am I going to do it? And they'll go grab it.
Hmm.
Or I need to work on my self-love. So the self-love section is one of my favorite ones because you get a test. So where does your self-hatred come from? And
Okay.
then you'll get, and then after you do the test, the color test, it will tell you, okay, this is the one you do first, and then it comes with exercises for 3-4 days. So it's a practical, simple book that starts with the basics of how to work with color. So you are empowered and like, okay, how does color manifest for me? How do I work with
Yep.
it?
Yep.
It gives you these basic rules, or not basic rules, like basic knowledge that you need to do.
The practical is going from the knowledge to the execution. I have the knowledge now. What do I do with it? Okay, this is how you take it forth.
Yeah. And then I also infused my story with different colors. So, for example, when I talked about green, I talked about my hatred for green and how I worked with it and what it meant, and how it meant that I was not comfortable being vulnerable and opening my heart and loving.
That's interesting.
Yeah, at that time, I was just really like, I would never put green on me. Never. And it was really because I was so scared to open my heart.
Oh my God, that is super interesting because a few months ago, I wanted to go shopping and I had this weird, I didn't have any green items as well in my wardrobe. And I had this urge that I wanted to add green to my wardrobe. And that was exactly the point where I started embracing my vulnerability as a superpower.
Exactly. So the thing is, like, what I say in the book is like the color you hate the most is the color you need the most. So if you're being repelled by a color, look at what are you avoiding. But then the colors you're attracted to are telling you where you're going, what your subconscious is saying, because really colors don't exist.
Yeah,
Colors is our brain's translation to different vibrations.
that's true.
So when we're looking at the vibration of green, it also aligns with the vibration of vulnerability, vulnerable thoughts, vulnerable feelings, and being open. So it's just the same spectrum of vibration. It's just
Mhm.
our brain has given us this gift of color, and we're able to track it by looking at it. It just made it simpler for us. Gave us a map.
I love that. I love that. So you decided you're going to bridge the gap between the knowledge and applying it in our life and using it to empower us.
Yes, I wanted people to understand how I worked with it. what what are the basic things you need to know to work with color, and then I gave them exercises and little color hacks from wellness, from what to wear for an interview, depends on who you're meeting, what does it mean if you're attracted to X, Y, and Z, how does the colors manifest in your body as a chakra system. So I just go into depth, but not it's very light.
Okay. So we're going to expect further in-depth sequels to your book then.
Hopefully, we'll see.
Again, tell everyone what's the title of your book and how they can order their copy.
Okay, title of my book is Heal Yourself with Color, Harness the Power of Color. And this book is, you can find it in different ways. I'll send you the links because there's a UK shop, US shop.
Okay, send them and let's put them in the show notes so people know where to order.
Perfect.
Well, I love our conversations, and it's always eye-opening to see the modalities and to see how, as you said, how different energy frequencies impact not only how we feel, how we think, how we be, and how we bring ourselves to becoming better versions of ourselves every day. That's it. Thank you so much, Walaa, again. Thank you for sharing the colors and the energy with us. And I can't wait to have more conversations along these lines.
Thank you, Hanan. Thank you so much.
Welcome. So again, just to sum up, keep count of the colors that you are being attracted to. Keep count of the energy frequencies that you are not only emitting, but that you are receiving, and go within. There's a lot of healing for all of us that needs to be done. There's nothing wrong with you. And there's definitely everything that is amazing about you. Embrace the amazing. Thank you so much for joining us again today. I wish you love, abundance, and prosperity. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to the Empowered to Grow podcast. For further engagement with a tribe of empowered women, join my Facebook group, Empowered to Grow, or visit my website, www.hananulbasha.com. I'll catch you on the next episode. And until then, know that empowered you empowers others. Love, abundance, and prosperity to you all.